witnessed all the time, which is a different kind of understanding, which goes against science, and it goes against like normal comprehending of intuition and decision making, and also affects your conscious thoughts, which is stealing a thought of another. Like, it's one thing to understand and interpret through teaching and hands-on learning and even a little bit of intuition, like kind of, it's almost like being skittish, but not really. It's like putting your foot in the water. Like, is it okay? Like, especially if you know somebody's like teaching you and you're a student or you're learning something, like that's normal intuition. And then your surrounding or whatever, however your mind thinks, kind of tells you it's okay and will veer from the doubt that you have. Like, sometimes and a lot of times that's normal. That's just normal living. Stealing a thought from another, it goes beyond that. It's more of a full focal point to where the person of behavior that I just kind of explained basically is in a different mind state. And it wouldn't necessarily be hands-on. It would be from a distance. So when it comes to stealing a thought from another, it ends up becoming judgmental to the mind, and you're interpreting another person's thought, which is overindulgent, which is almost like an attack on you if you have analyzed everything in your life and there's really not too many people in your life, and you can understand your own thoughts and your own intuitiveness and so forth, and whatever game other people play with you. Like, it's about understanding your divine, not your divinity. Your divinity being exactly what it is. It's divided. And I don't divide nothing with my mind. Like, I am a whole person. Like, I have experienced these emotions, these intuitive thoughts, my own intuition, my own decision making, ruling out, having to verify what's me, what's not me, what am I contributing to? What am I witnessing? And I have witnessed it all, which would be other people stealing other people's thoughts. And it would be on the obsessive side, where you're not learning something for yourself, like a job. It would be a different automotive, meaning another person, like, you'd be learning something different, like about another person, gathering a bunch of evidence, like you're gonna like attack them or snipe them one day. And that's the difference between somebody that's trying to better themselves and do something productive in life and trying to be whole, which is your divine, discovering things about yourself, likes and dislikes, understanding your own divine, understanding your everything about yourself, which would include like things from past, present to future, with you knowing like what you want in your life. The other way comes to that divinity stuff where other people are influencing your thoughts. And it would have to do with the overindulgence of thought, which would then need to be figured out if it's obsessive or not, or if it's even genuine or not. And if you're having this problem and it's not a parental thing, then it's even worse than what it may seem. But when it comes to intrusion of thoughts and other people understanding it as a divinity, that's where you're going to start entangling your thoughts with another person's thoughts, but therefore they have the decision to improperly or properly make, which mean what you like may not be their liking, but if they know their own indulgence of plan of attack, then the unknown would be how come things are getting worse, which would lead you to understanding these podcast videos. If that makes sense. Your senses would be messing up. What you look at wouldn't be the same. Like, normally we don't judge, like we don't put a final marking on judgment when it comes to certain things, with material. Why? Because they're always productively making new things. Like, you can't label, Sprint or T-Mobile or an old cellular company something, and then knowing that Apple comes out with something every year like 10 times more awesomer. You can't put a label on something material. Now, you can go throughout the years and this brand is better than this brand, and you can learn your lessons to save your money. You can learn various things, of different things coming out, every year or whatever they have to offer. But you can't final judge it. Like, you learn your lessons, right? Now, here's another difference. Here's smoking or alcohol, right? Now, that's a person judging it, knowing the truth, but they go against their own truth. I need to quit. And then you give yourself 100 reasons why. And then you start learning blah, 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 blah. But there's so many ways a person needs to understand how this affects people. Because it will send more than just a divinity. Divinity divide. That's how I understand it. And I ain't going to be somebody's divinity tool when it comes to mythology or understanding what a psychic skill may be. And so there's many things of what divinity means. And people don't understand the intrusion of thought and stealing another person's thought or stealing another person's intelligence. And then from there, it gets manipulative to where they try to manipulate your own intelligence with old intelligence because they're reflecting on old behaviors, which would be mocking. And mocking alone can make you feel a certain way. And these are how they affect your senses, whether it's silently or not. And so you need to watch out for these things. You got to know what you want in life. And yeah, it comes with a couple tweaks or little things. You'll feel a little whatever. And that's almost like picking up somebody else's feelings or responses or reactions. And they're not even aware of it. But they sure like that intelligence. They're sure wanting to steal your skill on a whole nother level and not call you up and ask you how to do it themselves. So they build a rap sheet that's going to hit them in the long run, to where once their favorite food was great and they never thought of it the way they do now, because other people have manipulated certain things in life, whether they knew or not. But typically we influence each other physically in life. And that's typically the norm, even though there's bad things that could occur from it. And they can send you out of the unnorm, but it is a normal thing to interact in life and people influence each other. Now, when you're secluded and you're being influenced, you really need to watch your step or watch your thought. Because that means somebody is intruding. And it happens. But everybody ends up picking up on what's going on, which leads them to the fact of having their own choice, whether they want to participate in this game of stealing another person's thought. And this is also what happens when couples do not live together and they're dating. Now, a normal way for it to happen is just normal behavior from dating: jealousy, wondering what the other person is doing, how they're doing, so forth, and then want to affect the other, like, very minutely. It wouldn't be too much, but it'd be minutely. It'd feel normal. Now, for another person to intrude in your thought, you're more likely to hear them or to something when it comes to a certain thought. But when it comes to them messing up their senses, that's like a judgment that they possibly judged for themselves, knowing that it was going to affect another, which would still be manipulation from stealing another person's thought, which would be taking advantage of their good side and trying to mess up their good side as well. But why did they want to steal their thought in the first place? Because they had good to them, right? Which meant what? That there was a third party that tried to take advantage of a couple, or at least a relationship at that, which meant there was a jealous person, a third wheel. Now, there's a normal way of that happening, and then there's a not so normal way of that happening. Is when you recognize silence and you know somebody's manipulating your relationship, and you can rule yourself out. So it's like, dang, what kind of friends you have, and who's manipulating you, and who's messing up my relationship, is the way I would take it. And it's the way I did take it, because it all makes sense when you know you're not doing anything wrong and you're just chilling, like you know what you want in life. You're being faithful, and it's like, I'm cool. So intrusion of thoughts and stealing thoughts, they're not the best thing to do, because then you start messing up families and you're overindulging in certain things and blah, 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 blah. Like, we all have our own families. We all have our own lives. And I understand interaction with people. People come and go. But for somebody to stick around and try to, like, tie some shit to you, or when you know, like, you have everything cut, you have all your ties taken care of, they're all cut, they're all done, all the behaviors are analyzed, and you're properly situating your life to where you realize the cause and effects, and you can just let stuff go, to where you know you have no ties, which means somebody is trying to tie something, which would be a forceful behavior too, to go along with obsessiveness. I mean, you know. But yeah, those are things to watch out for. Stealing another person's thought. Because if you're stealing another person's thought, then what are you doing? You're intruding in their thought. So this is what happens when you become aware of certain things and you know what you want in life and you have no worries. It's like, the things we not know that others do affect, which is the whole reason why we go to the store and get ibuprofen in the first place. Or we wonder all of a sudden, how come this, no, I'm used to eating this, but this don't feel so good. Or how come I'm eating this and I'm getting a tingle when I shouldn't be getting a tingle? And it's not sour food. I've experienced it. Sounds crazy. But don't let divinity divide your wholesome. Because karma is a bitch. Any questions, just email.